Good evening. How are you guys? You guys doing good? Wonderful. Welcome to the Fordham Pitch Challenge. It's a special pitch challenge, as I'm sure you guys are aware. This is the 10th year we're doing this, making it a decade of ideas. It's very special, and it's an honor to be your MC for tonight. My name is David Skinner. I'm a senior here at Fordham. And a few years ago, I actually won the pitch challenge as well as the People's Choice Award. I was one of the winners. And it's an honor to be back here and see the next generation of ideas get pitched tonight. So, if you're in this room, you already know that Fordham is not just a university, but it's a launch pad. This institution has been turning out leaders, thinkers, and people who go on to do great things. And right at the heart of the Fordham spirit is entrepreneurship. At the heart of that is the Fordham Foundry. The Foundry is the reason why we're all here tonight. It's the place where a student with nothing more than an idea on a napkin can walk in and walk out with a business plan, a mentor, and the confidence to pitch it to a room full of people. It's one of the best programs at the university, in my opinion. I think so. And tonight, as I mentioned, we're celebrating that wonderful 10-year milestone. Before we get into the celebration, I did want to take the opportunity to thank the Foundry from myself as well as the other students for the last 4 years. You guys have been incredible. And I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you. And I want to go a step further and actually say thank you, Al. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Milton. Jenny, where's Jenny? Thank you, Jenny. And there's two wonderful interns who've been there the entire time. Dante in the back. And Kathleen, where's Kathleen? Is she here? Kathleen is not here. Okay. Well, please give it up for the entire Fordham Foundry team. However, tonight is not just Fordham. We do have some other Jesuit universities in here. We have Loyola Marymount. Where are you guys? Georgetown. Loyola, Maryland. And Lemoyne. It's wonderful to have all these Jesuit minds in one room tonight. So we're going to get started. But first, you guys got to understand we got 3 tracks tonight. We have a general track, a social impact track, and then a Jesuit track. Each team is going to get 3 minutes to pitch and then 5 minutes of Q&A with our wonderful judges. At the end of the night, we'll also be voting for People's Choice Award. So it's imperative that you guys pay attention and see which one you guys like, because you'll have the opportunity to vote for your favorite. But before we get started, I have to hand it off to President Tetlow with this. Perfect. Oh, no. System. System.
Welcome to Fordham's 10th annual Pitch Challenge. This year, we are celebrating a decade of ideas, thousands of them from students and alumni across the Fordham community. Some of those ideas have grown into ventures. Welcome to Fordham's 10th annual Pitch Challenge. And this year, we are celebrating a decade of ideas, thousands of them from students and alumni across the Fordham milestone. Also, some of those ideas have grown into ventures. Alumni across the Fordham community. Annual Pitch Challenge. Some of those ideas have grown into ventures. Welcome to Fordham's 10th. Welcome to Fordham's 10th annual Pitch Challenge. I'm sorry, guys. Others into valuable learning experiences, and all of them reflect the creativity and ambition that define entrepreneurship at Fordham. This milestone also means we are celebrating more than 40 Pitch Challenge winners from over the years, many of whom are joining us again this evening to celebrate and to pass the torch to the next generation of Fordham founders. Their continued engagement is a powerful reminder that entrepreneurship at Fordham is not just a moment, but a central driving force. This year, we are once again grateful to have received over 150 applications from across the Fordham community, from students and alumni representing every school and discipline. The Pitch Challenge continues to be a space where anyone with an idea and the courage to share it can take a meaningful step forward. We are also especially excited to welcome our colleagues from the Jesuit Entrepreneurship Center Alliance, joining us from Jesuit institutions around the world. We are honored to collaborate with you and proud to celebrate the Foundry's first ever Jesuit pitch track as part of this year's competition. As you can see, the entrepreneurial spirit we celebrate tonight is deeply rooted in the Jesuit tradition. For 5 centuries, the Jesuits have built schools and institutions all over the globe using their trademark ambition. They teach us to be curious and open, always seeking a better answer. They teach us to strive for more, or as we say in Latin, magis. They teach us to think deeply and then to act, especially to solve the world's most pressing problems. This spirit thrives in the work of the Fordham Foundry. We recognize the Foundry as the community center of this kind of practice, where ideas are not only imagined, but carefully shaped and strengthened through collaboration. It is a place where students and alumni learn by doing, testing their assumptions, learning from one another, and building the confidence to move ideas forward. The work that happens through the Foundry reminds us that entrepreneurship is rarely a solo endeavor, but one rooted in shared effort and mutual support. To our finalists competing tonight, you represent the next chapter in this decade-long story. Your willingness to build and share your ideas carries forward a tradition of thoughtful innovation that has long defined Fordham. Thank you to our judges, our mentors, alumni, partners, and everyone who has helped make the Fordham Foundry such a vibrant part of our university. I hope you enjoy this evening and the many ideas still to come. Thank you.
Thank you, President Tetlow. Wonderful. All right, you guys ready to get this one started? Let's go ahead and get into it. For the general track, we got 3 judges up here. We got Veronica Daigle, Max Pera, and Jack Souza. And our first one, you ready? Reverie.
Okay. My name's Isabella, and this is Reverie. Romeo and Juliet, Game of Thrones, and 50 Shades of Grey have three things in common. They all started out as books, they're all considered dark romance, and they're banned in over 15% of US states. I was also one of the 2024 Fordham Pitch Challenge winners for my dark romance publishing house, Lucula. I wanted to shift the stigmatism surrounding dark romance. What is dark romance? It's romance that has to do with darker themes and topics that often include a trigger warning list. It's not Hallmark, it's HBO. Romance is a $20 billion a year industry and is rapidly becoming the #1 most banned genre throughout public libraries, bookstores, and schools. So I knew that my original mission needed to grow because banning books is incredibly dangerous. Banning books not only decreases our literacy rates, but it also limits situational awareness that helps individuals make connections. The taboo nature of dark romance actually helps individuals and readers like me identify and validate our domestic violence experience. This is where Reverie comes in. Reverie is a reading platform dedicated to dark romance and banned books with a social mission to help individuals and families get out of domestic violence situations. Reverie is available as a free app or as a physical e-reader device, our portal, and we offer one because oftentimes in domestic violence relationships, phones are being monitored. Our banned book repository houses books across all genres. You can opt into location services to read books not only in your area, but throughout the US through our secure VPN. And a special book on each account details warning signs for domestic abuse. Users can leave a 1 to 5 star review on this book specifically to safely and discreetly let us know the urgency of their situation. We will then connect them to a social worker in their area to start planning for a safe exit. Because we are a reading platform first, we're aiming to obtain 10% of the active dark romance reader market within the first 3 years of launching. And although we have competitors from global brands like Amazon to smaller companies like Yearn, Reverie is the only one utilizing its platform to help underserved markets. Reverie's revenue comes from ebook, audiobook, and portal purchases, as well as a subscription-based reader service that acts as a library checkout system. For $15 a month, you have unlimited access to our catalog of books. And with a steady increase of consumers over a 4-year period, our gross profit margins can earn over 40%. So our go-to-market plan to attract these consumers is we're making our presence known on social media marketing in our niche. We're making appearances in person at book events. And we're also going to be the only e-reader for purchase available at independent bookstores where they earn 20% commission on every e-reader sold. And we're retaining these consumers with our underlying magic. We're still a safe and inclusive space to discuss and enjoy books, especially if they're banned. But we're also advocating for some of the most pressing issues across the US. Above all, we're sharing the passion that is the escape for reading. Are you ready to enter a state of reverie? Thank you.
So thank you very much for that
Thank
presentation. Very interesting. Have you started to pilot this yet? Do you have any initial findings in terms of?
Yes. So when I say we, it's me. I'm a team of one right now building out both the portal and the app itself. We went a little bit viral over Tuesday. I was at a book event and I was talking to people, and within 24-hour period, I had over 2,500 signups just to be on a wait list, just to be notified when it's going to be, available for launch, for beta testing, and for actual purchase.
You talked, thank you, terrific presentation. You talked a little bit about connecting with social workers,
Yes.
right? Can you talk, so there could be a lot in that. Could you
Yes, there
expand,
is.
could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So the reason why we're choosing social workers instead of like an automatic 911 button is because police have to show up to every call that they are at. So because unfortunately domestic violence situations often escalate worse when police are there, we're connecting to social workers within that area, whether it's, New York City. We're talking to different domestic violence shelters to help out and to have a dedicated person eventually in each state, hopefully a couple in each state, that will then reach out to the people who have utilized our system, and we'll get in touch with them to have a safe and secure plan to get out.
Right. And then just follow up. So like how far along into that process are you with the social workers in the jurisdictions, or is it
Sure.
formative stages, or how far along is that?
So this is formative stages. However, I am in talks with 3 social workers here in New York City, and they have expressed interest in being probably the first testers of social workers to be part of this. And I've also spoken to somebody also here at Fordham, and she works with St. Jude, and they are very interested in actually being part of this program as well once we are launching.
Again, great presentation.
Thank you so much.
On the I think it's what, $15 subscription, $150 for, I guess, a hardware Kindle-esque
Yes. Yep.
product.
Yep.
For the subscription, how are you making margin off of it if I'm guessing you're having to feed that through to get the books themselves?
Yes, yeah. So there's going to be licensing fees for books that are not within dark romance itself, but because I have the dark romance publishing house, I would like to prioritize our authors first so they can get, there's no licensing fees for our authors because it's the same jurisdiction, same company. But we're also looking for independent authors. So my big push for Luchla was to support independent authors. And there's a whole community out there because a lot of publishing houses didn't want to sign dark romance books. And so we needed a champion for that. So I'm still pushing for independent authors and still being a champion for them. So that way they have, their reach that they need to get to.
And then just one quick follow-up on the 150,
Yes.
are you looking to partner with Kindle or some other hardware
Absolutely
platform,
not.
or-
We are
Okay.
trying to stay very much away from Amazon. So we are just going to be our own e-reader company. So like Barnes & Noble's has Nook and Amazon has Kindle. There's also Rakuten's Kobo and some other companies that have come out, but we are going to be the only one that actually has dark romance books and banned books as well, because if I can go back really quickly, I can't, sorry. There are a lot of banned books that are available on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble's. However, they're heavily redacted. Whoops. Yeah. So they're heavily redacted and you can't read all of them. And that stems not only from dark romance books, but books like 1984 and Animal Farm. So, yeah.
2 last quick questions. So one is, and I might have missed a little bit when you were going during the presentation, on the launch and the markets.
Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit more about which specific markets, when, and sort of how your launch strategy, local to national or whatever?
Yeah, sure.
And then the other question is just, I'd love to understand a little bit more about the background behind the company name.
Oh, Reverie?
Yeah.
So, all right, so I'll answer that question first. So, oftentimes when people are reading, we get lost in the daydreams. And so being in a state of reverie while you're dreaming is very common. And so I thought it was very fitting to be, especially if you're in a domestic violence situation, you're kind of maybe dreaming about that day where you're in a safe situation. So that's why it's named Reverie. But the second question about launch, can you repeat it for me? I'm so sorry.
Just in terms of like it's stemming sort of from the social folks, right? Like where geographically, where is the launch? Is it a full scale national originally? Or are you just talking about New York first? Like sort of what is your
Yeah.
market
So
development strategy?
So it's going to be, so I'm a New Yorker first and foremost, so it'll be launched here in New York. But the app's going to be available for anybody throughout the US to read first and then on an international level. So it's going to be rolled out. I do plan for all 50 states and eventually internationally.
So we went by, just real quick, we went by the financials very quickly. So
Yes,
it's hard
yes.
for me to read the slide fast
Yeah.
enough to get the TAM and, what the different
Yes.
part, and I know maybe we can't go back. What is do you currently have investors or
Nope.
are you?
I'm bootstrapping this myself. That's why I'm also here at the Foundry to get some potential investors or to get some people who want to be part of it as a startup, if you're interested in it. But
Oh, thank you.
yeah, so these are gross revenue projections, and I can also go back to my TAM.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just me, just bootstrapping.
Wonderful. Everyone give her. It's pretty
Thank
good.
you so much. Thank you
It was wonderful.
so much, Dave. Thank you so much. Who am I doing? Sorry. Am I doing-
All right.
Okay.
That was great. Keep this thing moving. Next up, we have Focus Plus.
Thank you, guys. Okay, no pressure at all, huh? I'm gonna stand here because I don't trust myself with the clicker. Check one, check two. Okay, great. How's everyone doing? All right. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, no pressure at all, huh? All right. Sure, no problem. I'll take all the time you need. Actually, well, you guys moving. I actually have so many things in my pocket that I can display. Okay, guys. Hey, everyone. The product I'm talking about today is Focus Plus. Focus Plus is a pen grip, simple as that. And it is a pen grip that prioritizes natural, comfortable hand positioning that minimizes training demands. You may want to ask, hi, who are you? Why are you talking about this? I'm a PhD student in school psychology. I'm in my third year. I'm a clinician. I'm also RBT. I mainly work with the student with the ID and special learning disability populations. I done my practicum at District 75, which is a special education district. I'm also a Fordham employee. My program is actually funded by the DOJ, DOE, MHAD, and IH, you name it. We have a funding. Actually, 1/3 of the funding goes to tutoring, half of them goes to reading and writing. And my pen grip. This is a pen grip designed to support all children with particular emphasis on needs of children with neurodevelopmental differences and utilary hand. You may want to ask why it matters. This is because improper pencil grip leads to frustration, task avoidance, and so many things. Who loves writing? Yeah, nobody. That's what I thought. Okay, this is This is the best pen grip on Amazon. This is the best selling product, which I'm holding right here. And Mr. Mark, I actually have a special task for you, but I'm gonna talk about later. It's actually a great product, but you know what? They don't work, and it's impossible for children to put them on by themselves. And as for the other two products, they just don't work. And those are my competitors. Luckily, unfortunately, they are not available in the US. Therefore, I recommend Focus Plus. Focus Plus is the first universal pen grip that fits all sizes pen on the market, and it's very easy to use, like the one I'm holding right here. You don't need two hands to install it. You just press it on and lift it up. And the design, yeah, of course, pendant protected, utility and design. And my union cost is 18 to 62% per union. I'm gonna seek for Amazon fast entry to seek for traffic, then I'm collaborate with the DOE. Then I want to launch my own store on TikTok to offer IP collaboration and customized designs. You know what? Up to 5 million children in the US need writing support, but they're not getting any. Just within New York, up to 100K students, they also need writing support, but they can not afford any. Therefore, with that number in mind, the lowest KPI with Amazon will be 50K revenue in half a month. Okay, great. I'm gonna use Scrub Daddy marketing strategy because it's perfect for small product promotion. Those are the grants I'm going to apply this year because my product is a clinical tool. And here's why I'm here, because I believe in children's future and I would like to help with them. And that's my pitch. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
Oh, I'm just gonna talk like
Good.
why.
Yeah.
Put on your pen, please. And this is this is just a prototype. It's
Okay.
not the real product, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Give it a try. Are you able to put it on?
No, not really. Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
it has a gap on the pencil.
Yeah.
The real product is gonna made by silicone, therefore it's very soft, just like that. You can press it on, and this is the part that supports the palm and the preventing wrist bending. I made this because, like I mentioned before, I've worked with mental struggling with the writing, and I love to.
Yeah. Two questions. So one is on the demographic you're chasing. I saw those are the number of kids, but do you have the numbers also around the market size itself of what's been like the adoption? So there's like 2 to 5 million children using this thing, but how much of that market is already adopted into some product versus nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like I mentioned before, we actually have a very big market here, but you know, where kids are using iPad right now, they don't feel like writing is important. But like I mentioned before, writing is actually very important. I don't know how many people of you got like the small bump on your finger. I know I have it. Also, writing is very important. I know it still means something. Even you're playing with the iPad, you still have to use like an Apple Pencil or something like that. The improper pencil grip cause like it can actually like dislocate your spine or something like that if I'm being like dramatic. So yeah, I like to launch my business, collaborate with the New York DOE first, then launch it nationally.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. Can you talk, so two things. Can you talk a little bit more about the details rear facing? So like your design and development and sort of some of the details of how you got to put this together and thinking about what you're going to do. And then the second thing is, you said this is a prototype. So like when you go to mass produce, sort of like, what are your thoughts on that? So sort of backwards looking and forward facing.
Yeah, like all the number on my slide, they are actually real. Are the manufacturer already making it? Like I mentioned before, it's a silicone. It depends on what kind of a silicone I use. Union cost is like a 16 to 62. The reason why I don't have it right now because I make it everything in China, and it's just impossible for me to find a manufacturer in the US. I love to though. But the costs are gonna be like instantly high. That's not what I want. Ideal selling price will be $8.99, but my real ideal selling price will be like $4-ish. Back to your question, how did I design this? I designed it. I tested many times. I have a 3D printer. This is what I do. I actually have like 100 more like prototypes in my home. I designed it myself. Actually, before I got into my PhD program, I was a programmer for many years. I also worked for New York Fashion Week for many years. So I have the design background, have the artistic background. So I did everything by myself. And like I mentioned before, there are many research grants that my pen grip is eligible to apply, and they don't need a prototype.
So you mentioned the manufacturing.
Yeah.
So did you say like right now the manufacturing would be done in China? Is that?
Yes, yeah.
And so, okay. So how would you, I guess related to that would be first, have you, and I might have missed this, have you pursued a patent for this?
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, two. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So how would you also protect against copying?
The copy, great question. Actually, I'm gonna apply. I did the patent in the US. I'm gonna apply Japanese patent first before I pursue the patent in China because that will make everything easier and the cost will be so much lower. As for the copier thing, I'll be very honest. China doesn't need this. US does. You don't need this. Just based on the population, as I mentioned before, my competitors, they're already there. Like they don't need my product.
That's great.
Also, special education is not, it's a developing market. It's not like a real thing there yet. So just like awareness, it's not like an ideal market anyway.
And I assume you've started to think about how you might scale this into other
Yeah.
uses?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm multilingual. I also speak Japanese, so I'm gonna pursue Japanese pendant first before I do the rest.
Just really quickly, did you put any references to any of the patent aspects into the pitch or no?
I'm sorry.
Did you reference in the pitch? Did you reference that you had gotten that you've applied?
Yeah,
for patent?
yeah,
They were there.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
There
Yeah,
was
didn't see
slide.
them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you. I accidentally left my judges out to dry on that last round, so we got to give them some time to finalize their scores before we start putting our next group up here. Judges? Wonderful. Next up is Read Our Lips.
Good evening. Imagine standing in the aisle of a $500 billion industry. You look at a shelf of 40 foundations from leading makeup companies like Estee Lauder or L'Oreal, but the deepest 20% of the skin spectrum, the darkest and richest complexions, there are 0 options. This is an equity challenge. While Black consumers make up $6.6 billion in this industry, they are 3 times more likely to be dissatisfied with their options, according to McKinsey & Company's quarterly beauty report. They're spending the most, but being served the least, and we're here to change that.
Read Our Lips is a cosmetic company bridging the gaps between social justice issues and beauty. Our products are 100% vegan, they're cruelty-free, they're color matched, and they're tweaked for all ranges of skin by our CEO, who is an experienced makeup artist. But what really sets Read Our Lips apart is our packaging. Each of our products has a cultural and historical fact about Black or Indigenous people's contributions to society. We also have created an adjustable applicator that we believe will transform the market.
The demand for Read Our Lips isn't just growing, it's shouting. We have successfully converted organic social media traffic into a loyal customer base with very little paid ad spend. This means our customer acquisition cost has and will continue to be essentially 0 as we lead with community storytelling. To date, we have sold and distributed 100% of our handmade products, proving that when Black and Indigenous women feel seen, they buy. With production costs under $2 per tube, we maintain a 90% gross margin on our $30 lip kits. This massive operating leverage gives us the opportunity to continue to reinvest. With this investment, we plan to use our above average 5% conversion rate to maintain and obtain a 5,000 consumer base.
We're bringing our product to market through our digital storytelling. For example, our Wisdom Wednesday podcast explores systemic inequalities and media bias. And our community engagement is growing by 1,000+ views, which is turning our audience into customers. Our grassroots growth is enhanced by our pro-seller network of brand ambassadors. They're ambassadors that are not just promoting the product, but they're making commission off of every digital sale that they generate. And we are exploring an additional revenue stream that will help us license our applicators.
We're trying to move from 200 handmade units to 20,000 manufactured units. be part of the birth of giving the most underserved communities the shade, the voice, and the platform that they deserve.
So thank you. And thank you for bringing a sample. Very much appreciated.
You're welcome.
So I guess my first question is this is a big market with a lot of competitors in it right now. As somebody who's got an entire drawer full of lipsticks. So I guess my question to you would be how do you really see yourself being able to grow in that market? And do you see would it be more on the social justice side, or is it the quality of the lipstick? So where do you see your real wedge is going to be?
I think that's a great question. We touched on our applicators, which is something that we're designing for that. That is in prototype. It's supposed to be done on the 24th of this month. But that applicator, along with the education on the lip, I think makes a difference. The applicator itself is adjustable. So with most lip products, you either pull it out like that and you apply it to your lips, or you squeeze a bottle and that amount comes on your lips. And we have a picture in here of what it looks like, but with our adjustable applicator, you'll be able to turn the middle a little bit. And if you want a little bit on your lips, you'll get a little bit. If you turn left, you'll get a lot. So you'll have the option of being able to put on more or less on your lips, but we're also expanding that not just with the lip kits. It's also going to be with eyeshadow and with blush. So it's going to be a product that we believe will be usable for all types of makeup products.
And to piggyback off of that a little bit, you talked about, is it going to be on the social justice side or is it going to be for making a great product? And what we're trying to do is both. We want to create a new market where people are able to use their voice and their platform, but are showcasing that with the best products that they're able to use. So I would say that in both ways, as well as our digital storytelling platform, that's a big part of what makes us different. We've utilized and hope to continue building a community of people who are interested in being conscious and not just interested in the beauty side of what we're providing.
Yeah, and I guess I guess the follow up to that would be, which I think is wonderful. It's how do you retain the customer, right? So that you get them to keep buying, and so which also seems to be a tricky.
I think a quality product. Sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think a quality product always retains customers. So yes, having an educational fact about Black and Indigenous people is going to be important, but I think the quality of the product is going to be probably more important. But also with the facts that are on the that are on the product itself, we're not just looking at, African American facts, but we're looking at Latina facts. We're looking at African facts. We're looking at Middle Eastern facts. So it's going to be a product that people all over the world will want to see their history preserved, which I think will continue generation to generation, bringing in new customers. Because eventually we can also make lip balm for young people who don't like reading books that much. So they'll have, that product to look at. Well, not all young people, I shouldn't say that, if there are any young people in the room.
That's great. Curious, you mentioned, I think I saw on the two posts on Instagram you had, one was back in 23. Just curious about your current community outreach, distribution, how you're connecting with people. Are you doing like an affiliate program? I think you may touch on it, but just, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, so since then, we have been able to maintain the customer base that we had. We had, with our first drop that we did have, we were able to sell that and distribute it we went to multiple events, as well as like the Brennan Justice convention that they have here in New York City. And that built our network. So I feel like it's just been a growing process, especially since we are able to not only just grow our network through our social platform, but also in person and in live events, which is also what we want to continue to use this investment for, that in person connecting with different people who are advocates in their own right, or who are doing different projects across the Freedom Project and different things like that, have been able to stay connected with us. And that's the network that we're trying to maintain and grow.
I'll also just add, with her finishing her undergrad, it helps that there's now more hands. And to be honest, last year I actually lost my job because of the budget cuts of the new administration. I was in international development for 20 years. That's why the importance of history being preserved is important to me. And it took me like 9 months to find another job. But that now gives me also the steam and the energy and the time to be able to refocus and restart again with the Foundry, hopefully.
Just one quick question. Especially in this industry, I think marketing and branding is so important. I love the name. Have you looked in, I would be curious to hear if there's other competition in terms of, I don't know if you've looked at trademarking, anything like that. So just speak of that for a minute.
Yeah, I have looked at all kinds of trademarks and patents. My mom actually is a patent secretary, so she's also helped with looking for me. But Read Our Lips is being used by like a blind and deaf community.
Excuse me, I'm getting signaled
Oh, okay.
at time.
Oh, yes and no. Thank you. Thank you.
That was wonderful. All right. Let's just do your thing. Got one more on this general track. So far, how do we feel? How do we feel, audience? That's great energy. I appreciate that. All right. Oh, this next one's gonna be interesting. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but who's pitching the next one? Oh, let's go ahead and get you set up. Sorry. Let's find out. Here in just a second. What's the? I'm advancing? Yep. There you go. Boom. Okay, right. Cool. Right. Judges, let me know. Take your time. Take your time. There we go. Now introducing Santa's Secret Workshop. Thank you, David.
Hi, I'm Carl Hendrick Lewis. My wife and son love Christmas, but the process of meeting Santa has a big problem. The mall, up to 3 to 4 hours waiting. I got to entertain my son because he's bored. Finally, front of the line, he doesn't care, my wife and I don't care, and we got seconds to put on a good face at how does Santa take a pic for one photo. Or hire a professional photographer to Santa. There's more time, but it's all about the photos. We're not involved, and so many upcharging fees. Beautiful photos, but very expensive. Our solution? Combining theatrical performances by classically trained actors like me in a professional photo shoot into a private 25-minute immersive holiday photo adventure, ensuring every family effortlessly connect with Santa, capture unforgettable memories, and spark the spirit of the season. Our underlying magic, an undercover elf who plays a human, their personal guide, who leads the family through interactive stations intertwined with storytelling and imagination that both kids and adults can engage and enjoy. Our secret sauce, Santa knows things in advance about the kids. Names, ages, moments of achievements, and acts of generosity and kindness that makes his visit personal and magical. And yes, an appointment that starts on time and you get to choose your Santa. Our target audience, Christmas celebrating families or parents who just want to make their kids happy. 87 paying clients. Our goal? These locations across the US from a $15 billion opportunity. By capturing 1% of the market, we could earn $30 million. How it works? Go to the website, book your preferred time, and digitally receive your photos to share and cherish. Our all-inclusive package, $450 for families. And what's awesome? Split it with another family. 10% of our clients did. Also, 36% of our clients loved it so much they paid an extra $150 for all the photos or $25 extra per photo. Plus discovered 2 revenue streams, dog owners and corporate accounts. The additional revenue streams increase our growth potential. By curating something uniquely special that touched people, we've been covered by major broadcast outlets and local newspapers. Mommy influencers to adventure influencers boosted our visibility. Small business cross-promoting to get us off the ground, all for free. Except Mayo Studios, an amazing partnership that gave us a 2-month short-term lease. We add immense value to the families we serve. Our competitive offerings allow us to stand out as a company. There is nothing like us on the market. This wouldn't be possible without my extraordinary team. However, the true heroes, our classically trained actors who cared for each family. They're outstanding, but do not take my word. Take my clients. 52% of the clients took the time to read about their experience on Google, Instagram, and currently 152 clients are booked. But I'm extremely proud that we achieved these initiatives. Consider being a part of a company that truly makes magic happen. Thank you.
Fantastic presentation. Seriously, well done.
Thank you.
To bring down with the question, just curious about a moat and how do you protect against someone else replicating it and twisting a different angle and sort of coming into a race of you charge 450, they charge 375, and it's this race at the bottom.
Excellent question.
Thank you.
So is my competitors, obviously the obvious one is Macy's. That's a completely different spectrum because they're free, but obviously the big trade-off is you have to wait hours online. So my true real competitors are obviously Magical Encounter Storybooks, but the huge issue is, the huge difference is they just hire a Santa and it's just a backdrop. And what I'm offering, which is very, very difficult, I think that what I've learned in my research is that other companies don't want to invest in one, the acting and also the artistry and also the time and the patience. Also what I'm offering is the time to take the time to understand the families and their needs prior. And of course, there's a huge investment upfront cost, but obviously I can take care of that. But what I've discovered so far is that when I've spoken to other photographers who have had this process, they actually end up saying no because of the either rent or the deal with other actors is more labor.
One quick follow-up is, how are you going about getting customers, marketing, getting out there, getting your name, taking share away from them? What's the process?
Excellent question. So I've been doing a lot of outreach, schools, daycares. I'm doing local work. And obviously I'm doing everything all for free. So for example, I currently have a live campaign right now called Bring Back Santa Secret Workshop. And so forth. That's been completely free, which I've been able to acquire my current 152 clients right now, which is still currently growing. You're welcome.
So this is a very specific holiday, right? And in the time of the year. So can you talk about the rest of how does the workload spread over the course of the year?
Excellent question. So yes, this is a seasonal pop-up business model. And so throughout the rest of the year, we are focusing on business development, which I kind of just touched on. So main thing is nurturing repeat customers. I'm engaging families all year round through email campaigns, as for example. Also, I'm working on off-season activations, like our Christmas in July event. I'm also working on corporate contracts. That could be sponsorships, partnerships, accounts. In my pilot season, I was very lucky to work with Donut Plant. They want to do something for their executive team. I created something really special for them, and now we're in competition right now for this season. I'm currently speaking to other companies as well. And of course, more importantly, working on the experience itself. So preparing it and refining it for the following season. So as you can see, there's a lot to do besides for the off season itself. I mean, besides for the current season itself. And so throughout the off season gives you a lot of time to actually prepare to lock in demand early and also lock in revenue early before the season approaches.
And as you grow and as you scale to hopefully, greatly expand your customer base, where do you see the biggest challenge is going to be in terms of supporting it? And if it's your team, are you going to have enough actors to support? So where do you see the potential blockage?
I think the only real potential blockage, I don't feel acting as an issue.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest things about this particular job is it's seasonal. And it gives a great opportunity for actors to block out 2 months, make great money, and then focus on their passion. I think the current real challenge will be when it's time to scale, looking at other cities. And I don't mean that from the aspect of actors. The locations I picked are specifically picked because those are high density cities, but also with high concentration of excellent actors. It's about the research and the work to figure out the appropriate space that also has, what I have learned from my research right now is trying to find a great space that has a has a shop within the space. If I could find a space I have right now in other cities, that might be the current real challenge. But in terms of the infrastructure from technology and also labor, I don't think that's an issue.
I had several questions. Most of them have been asked or you've answered without them being asked. But just to dig in a little bit on sort of like, again, the seasonality trend, when are you, of the 152, how many are booking? Like, are they what time of year are they mostly booking? Are you able to get bookings in different times of the year? Are they versus when are they paying? Right. And would you consider like is a discount model if you book in June versus November? Is there value to that? Those sorts of things, just seasonality of bookings and payments.
Excellent question. So obviously my business is very new and it's unknown. So there's tons of other Christmas options for parents. And so pretty much since they all know the other ones, those are booked very early. So once I have a very strong base, I would probably be booked by September for the rest of the season. So currently I'm actually teaching and educating everyone right now who I am. So therefore by the time August rolls around, I'll pretty much be at my break even point by that time. And after that, it's just about nurturing them and just educating them and just also getting more people to spread the word.
Can I ask one quick question? No?
That-
I'll ask, I'll ask you after.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very
thank you
much.
very
Great
much.
presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was our general track. We're gonna have our judges finish up the judging. And then we're gonna introduce a new set of judges for our next section. But I did want to take this time. If I could direct you guys all to the back of the room. You may have seen it. Got Rebecca in the back, she's waving. Wave for us, Rebecca, in the back. Everybody see that? We have some wonderful student businesses back there. You need to swing by, you need to check them out. Fantastic. All right.
Like a break, or is it like?
We're gonna, 1 minute, but we're gonna start the social impact track very soon. So you need to use the bathroom. Don't let it be a long one.
This is my 5-minute transition.
This one was working, this one's not. Like really bad, like. That one's not working at all. What's that? All right, so this person will just have. Yeah.
Wonderful. What's your name? Lana Skinner. Nice to meet you, Alana.
Congratulations on I saw your picture.
Yeah. I very good experience.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's like, I'm pitching in the Jesuit one plus this one, so like, yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know. I just saw everyone else's, I don't know.
Think about how nervous I am up here. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'm like freaking.
Can you read off? You're all good. You got it.
Yeah.
Goes by quick.
Yeah, the 3 minutes was a quick, the 5-minute question, that seems to be going pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Oh, and to go back and forth, it's up and down. Oh, it's this one.
To be honest with you,
No idea.
I am not participating in the
Oh.
All right, if you want to tell people to sit back down.
All right, all right, all right, all right. If you guys could start trying to find your seats, please, I'd appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. Rebecca, will you please start directing people back to the crowd? All right, you guys get ready. We're gonna get the next section started here shortly. So if you can find your way to your seat, we'll get started. I have no influence over this crowd. All right, folks, we're gonna move on to our next track. Got a couple folks in the back. Want to make sure everyone's seated before you get up here. All right. We're now transitioning to the social impact track. We have three wonderful judges. We have Leanne Statuto, all right? Fernando Monteo, and Christina Hansen. All right, with that, we're going to kick it off with Polar Guard.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Alana Richardson, and I'm a master's student in the AI and Business program at Gabelli Business. And so bipolar disorder is a clock disorder. Your body is literally running on this internal clock, and the problem is that nobody's tracking it. And so that's why I'm building PolarGuard, an alarm for that clock. 69% of people with bipolar disorder are misdiagnosed at first, and I was one of them. And it's not just a delay, it actually makes things worse. And a part of that really stuck with me is that 30 to 60% of people with bipolar disorder will attempt suicide. And so this isn't small, it isn't a science problem, it is a data problem. There we go. So what's interesting is that since bipolar disorder isn't random, it follows a disrupted internal clock. And so things like sleep, energy, heart rate, they actually start shifting way before an episode. And so we just don't track those signals all together in a meaningful way. And so what I'm proposing and working on is a way to catch those shifts early, like 3 to 7 days in advance before an episode fully hits. And so PolarGuard would really integrate with the software that people already have, like an Apple Watch, an Oura Ring, or Fitbit, and continuously track those things like sleep, speech patterns, any other biomarkers. And since bipolar is a clock disease, this model would then learn the thresholds and then the patient's patterns to catch these things early. And so this is an early Figma mockup of what this might look like. This is the patient view and this is the clinician view. So instead of like guessing, the idea is to turn all of that data into a simple risk score. And so patients and clinicians can actually see when something is building and then be proactive and step in earlier. And surprisingly, there is nothing built specifically for predicting bipolar episodes. There's wearables, like I said, and mental health apps, but nothing connecting that continuous data stream to specifically predict those episodes. And that's the space that I'm building into. So this sits inside of a pretty massive market, $360 billion in AI-driven healthcare, essentially. And so I'm starting with bipolar disorder. 7 million people suffer from this. And then so the model I'm thinking would be subscription-based at $29 per month, plus a clinical dashboard for clinicians and providers. And so the goal is to start with wearables and then move eventually to clinics and healthcare systems. And then like right now, 7 million people are suffering from bipolar disorder and managing this clock disease with no alarm. So PolarGuard may be just the thing that would be the beginning of changing that and from moving from reactive to proactive. And I've also been accepted into the NSF Life Sciences I-Corps program. So I will be validating this with patients and clinicians over the course of the next year. And right now I'm really just looking for clinical partners, feedback, guidance, because this is something that I need and I know I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Really great presentation. My first question, and you kind of touched on it at the end, is these biomarkers and I have an aura ring, so I'm touching it. So these indicators, are they research driven? Have you worked with psychiatrists and different research professionals to really understand them a little bit better?
Not just yet. So I start tomorrow with the life sciences program, and then by the end of the year, I will have completed 100 discovery customer interviews. And so right now I'm in the discovery phase. I'm working with Dr. Sen here at Gabelli at the Global Health Department. And so we're looking into machine learning models. And so how to, one of the biggest issues is data privacy right now. And so getting people into the pilot is my first goal right now.
Great presentation. Wanted to know, obviously it's a monthly subscription-based model. How do you ensure that the impact of this work reaches those that are most sort of underprivileged and perhaps have the greatest need for this?
Yeah, so the $29, so this is really just like a market like entry point right now. And so after the clinical trials and the pilot, I'll be able to assess more like what would people actually want to pay. And so this $29 is based off of, for example, I pay $29 a week for clinical checkups to make sure that I'm not going, into a certain episode. And so monthly subscription is more accessible based on, what people are paying now. For example, heart event monitors right now, they go for, upwards of $199. And so this is similar to that, but, work in progress.
I enjoyed your presentation a lot. How many hurdles are there from a regulatory perspective for a product like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot, tons. So first thing would be, like I said, data privacy. So right now, what I'm learning in my program, my AI program, is that the EU AI Act, we're still trying to figure out, or they're trying to figure out what are those regulations and then what will people be comfortable sharing. And so the way I'm thinking about this model is that patients need to trust their clinicians and the clinicians need to trust me. So it could be more accessible, but yeah, definitely FDA approval as well. That's also a big hurdle to jump through, but before I can do that, I have to test it with clinicians, get their buy-in, and then they'll promote it to their patients, hopefully.
We might have time still, so I'm gonna ask one quick question. Two, actually. Is this possible to be HSA approved? And then I forgot my second question, but let's start with that one.
It could be, but I'm mainly focusing on, because I do want it to be covered by insurance eventually, which is the plan. That's what I would hope, but let's look more into that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And what is a little bit of your market entry strategy?
Yeah, that's a good question. Market entry strategy. So this is something I'm still working on, but following the pilot, some of the discovery interviews that I'll be doing with my clinicians, providers, and healthcare systems, I want to know what would get them to market it for me, because that's really the. I'm not starting with the app fully. I would start with the clinicians first. So having them promote PolarGuard would be first step. Thank you.
All right, that was wonderful. We're gonna let the judges have a few moments to finalize their scores. We're gonna keep moving. All right. Keep moving. Next up, we have Cyber Safe Teens.
I think we can all agree that teen online safety is a major issue, both in the United States and globally. Currently, 42% of youth have a cell phone, and 90% of those parents believe that giving their child a cell phone is a safety measure. However, cell phones and similar devices give youth access to open communication platforms such as Roblox, Minecraft, and many others, leaving them vulnerable to online predators. With 97% of youth ages 3 through 18 having access to the internet, policymakers all agree that teen online safety is a major issue, and they've created policies and laws to help keep teens safe online. Some of these safety measures are age verification, parental consent, and stricter online policies regarding cyberbullying, harassment, and child exploitation. With these new policies and laws in place, we've seen an increase in programs dedicated to educating the community on how to keep teens safe online. But many of these programs are focused on educating parents on how they can keep their teens safe online, rather than actually educating teens on how they can keep themselves safe online. And that's where Cyber Safe Teens comes in. So Cyber Safe Teens is an immersive learning experience through interactive learning modules that provides teens ages 10 through 17 with the tools and resources they need to keep themselves safe online through real-life scenarios, games, and quizzes. Currently, there are 529 public middle schools, over 400 public high schools, and an estimated 450,000 students from grades 6 to 12 in New York City alone. As a service-connected veteran, I am looking to utilize veteran-specific grants to help with the initial build of the modules. And moving forward, we are looking to create partnerships with different middle schools and high schools in the New York City area. We hope to provide the actual modules for free or at discounted prices through EdTech grants. And we also are looking for corporate sponsorships through corporations that have an interest in child online safety and community philanthropy. My name is Tyler Cooper, and we are all responsible.
Don't leave yet. We have questions.
Sorry. Great presentation, Tyler. I might have missed it, but if you could just reiterate or clarify what you see as your moat, your competitive advantage, and what sets you apart from your competitors.
Yes, so as far as competition, a lot of what you'll see is mainly to educate parents on how they can actually protect their children online. So it goes through age verification, pretty much the things that I talked about in the laws and policies that have been recently created. That's mainly what they focus on, but we want to actually focus on educating the teens themselves.
It sounds like a lot of the funding comes from ed tech grants to provide the funding for your product. Have you identified sources that might be able to work for your program?
Yes, I have, but I would have to get back to you on the exact names.
I'm curious if you could speak a little bit to the content that'll be like the education modules that you'll be doing. Are you creating them? Who's creating them and how are they being vetted?
Okay, so my sister Jasmine Cooper is currently a high school teacher at New Rochelle High School, and she will be in charge of building out the curriculum. And in, I think it's this. In this slide, we do plan on having teen town halls, so they will be able to add to the curriculum as well.
And one other question is, how do you envision teens wanting to do this? Is this something that you'll think will go through the school? I'm envisioning, do teenagers want, I don't know, would they want to be doing this? Is it going to be fun and educational learning that they're excited to do? Any thoughts on that?
Yes, so this will be, I want it to be mandatory through the school. Most of the programs are not mandatory, and that's why they're not making such a big impact. Also, we're going to be using real life scenarios, so we'll be using actual teen actors from the Denzel Washington Theater School in Mount Vernon. So I think that that will make it more relatable to the actual teens. Thank you.
All right, judges. I'm gonna keep this, keep going. So, very good. On to our next. Where am I going? NOJ Capital.
Welcome to Nosh Capital, the first financial preparation, pre-verification, and marketplace platform designed specifically for the Latin American entrepreneurial ecosystem. According to major angel investor Arturo Elias Ayub, one of the biggest weaknesses of Mexican entrepreneurs is the lack of financial preparation, with many founders entering investor meetings without even the basic financial statements. My name is Daniel Carrillo, and as I was researching the region, I found 3 key issues that need to be that we need to tackle immediately. The first one is that founders are not investor ready. And what this means is that even though there's great business ideas out there and small businesses, they lack the structure on how to present their companies to investors. The second one is that investors face a lot of uncertainty, with many of them receiving incomplete, inconsistent, or straight up wrong information, which is time and cost consuming. The third one is that there's no standard way to compare different ventures across industries or regions. For this, I propose Nosh, and consists of 3 main key pillars. The first one is a preparation layer. We'll give our founders access to a structured checklist of all the documents that angel investors or venture capital firms require from them, as well as access to a FinPrep library, which gives them resources on how to prepare or obtain those materials. The second one is a verification and validation layer. We will pre-verify the information and give them a readiness score from 0 to 100. The third one is a distribution layer. We'll give them access to their investment package with all the documents required, as well as a financial summary, and give them access to our marketplace of curated angel investors and venture capital firms. But let's talk about market overview. 15% of Mexican adults are entrepreneurs. 30% of them are actually planning on starting a business. And there's almost 4.7 million active small businesses today right now in Mexico. Our ICP are early stage Mexican founders and small business owners looking to get access for private investments to grow their business. I estimate that for the required resources, if for the $5,000, I would estimate 40% to product and technology development, 30% to go-to-market strategy, and 30% to legal and compliance. Our go-to-market strategy is simple. We will partner with the founder ecosystem in Mexico, such as universities, incubators, and accelerators, target founders in an early stage, and build trust through early success. We offer 2 plans, a free tier, which gives them access to the structured checklist and access to the FinPrep library, and an investor-ready package, which is a $200 one-time payment, which includes everything else, as well as an optional $30 subscription a month for companies that have changing numbers in their balance sheet. Our competitors, even though strong, they're not targeting the same ICP. They are not offering the same services, and they don't have the same social vision. They're reserved for an elite group of people. At Nosh Capital, we want to create a world where every founder has access to the right tools to create and grow their business and tear up those walls that prevent them from getting access to this industry. Thank you.
I have a question about sort of the size of business that you would be approaching for this product.
Yeah, of course. So
Presentation.
thank you. So basically, first we're targeting universities and people that are aiming to get access to incubators and accelerators. So specifically universities in Mexico City, in Mexico in general, target their students and validate the idea first. So first we're doing it manually, just to validate the idea. We actually already have the interface made with Figma, so they can see how to navigate it and if they like the product. But before completing the whole AI platform, we want to first do it manually, so because of how much trust this requires from our part, because we're going to be reviewing statements and there's a lot of accuracy needed. We want to be there at the beginning stages.
Okay, great presentation. Well done. Can you speak a little bit to your personal background, your team's background? If you're going to be reviewing financial statements, are there credentials needed? And anything you could share about your background to be starting this content?
Yes, of course. So I'm a finance student here at Fordham University at the Gavioli School of Business. A little bit about my background. I worked at the Consulate General of Mexico, New York in Community Affairs, and later on served as a member of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce. I'm originally from Mexico City and have a very strong passion for the Latin American entrepreneurial ecosystem. One of the people that are in our team is actually a founder right now of one company here in New York City. He's doing KYC, and he's from Chile. So the people in our team have a mixture of entrepreneurs and financial background, as well as all Latin American, studying here in the US, just because we want to bring the knowledge and everything that we've learned here back to our countries.
Great presentation, Daniel. I have two quick questions. One sort of building on your question. I'm curious to hear more about your TAM and how you're sort of defining, a founder or a small business that would seek investment. You mentioned 15% of adults in Mexico are entrepreneurs. Are you sort of targeting all of them, or is it specifically those who are seeking investment capital in particular?
Yeah, so we're specifically targeting people who have either small businesses who are seeking investments to grow their small business, or entrepreneurs who have, for example, a pre-seed idea that want to access those accelerators and incubators, especially like university students. So that's why I'm doing my first research there, targeting people from El Tecnológico de Monterrey, La Iberoamericana, Universidad Panamericana as well, so that they can validate the idea, see if they like the product. And so far, we've got really good responses of people, especially, right now we're targeting students, but the idea is that this reaches the whole market.
Great. And then I'm curious what the name represents.
Yeah, so my grandmother, she's actually from a very small community in the Mayan region. It's called Oshusclap, and this is a Mayan word. It's Nosh, and so basically it means knowledge. It means, that's a general word, but yeah, it has multiple meanings, but they're all around knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
All right, all right. We're going to give the judges a few moments. And we're going to wrap this up on our social impact track with our last pitch for kids building wealth.
Hi, I'll be presenting on Kids Building Wealth, where we're bridging the financial literacy and college access gap.
My name is Olga Baez, and I'm the founder of Kids Building Wealth, a registered nonprofit empowering kids with money skills and also pathways to entrepreneurship. I am a Fordham alum. I grew up in the Bronx, and I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college and have a retirement account. So why financial education? Thank you. Studies show that kids begin to build money habits by the time that they're 7 years old. Yes, 72% of parents report not having any conversations with their kids about money. And unfortunately, 42% of Americans overall lack any emergency savings. So our solution was to start a kids entrepreneurship program where we are teaching financial education and entrepreneurial skills to Bronx students between 3rd and 5th grade, providing them with an early start to financial education and to closing the wealth gap. Our 7-week entrepreneurship program is offered after school. Students receive 2 financial literacy books, meet college students, entrepreneurs, have the opportunity to visit a local bank, a college campus, and they also receive materials for their first business. So our students are also now getting an introduction to AI, where they're able to design their own business logos. And our program culminates with a business launch where students are able to showcase their business, sell their products, and keep 100% of the money they earn. Last year, we were able to host the first children's business fair right here at the Rosso campus in partnership with the Gabelli School of Business, where students were able to earn up to $100 during this event. And I would like you to meet Yanilda. She is part of our 2024 cohort, and as you can see, her business has been growing along with her savings account, where she currently has $1,000 saved up. Since launching our program in 2023, we've taught over 100 Bronx students. We've hosted annual kids business pop-ups where students are able to have additional opportunities to sell their products and make more money, and encourage families to open up their child's first savings account. I'm excited to share that last month we launched our first Girl Boss mentoring program, where our young entrepreneurs are getting mentorship from Fordham students who are going to help them continue building their business and also growing their confidence. In terms of our revenue, we are a registered New York City Department of Education vendor. So we have contracts with schools, specifically in the Bronx, and we also receive support from our partners in the community. For 2026, 2027, we already secured contracts with the Department of Education, and we're also looking to launch our first college paid internship program to help us expand to 10 Bronx schools and also grow our mentoring program. I hope that you support the next generation of entrepreneurs and Fordham Rams. Thank you. And before we get to the questions, we actually have Yanilda here, and she's going to be sharing one of her most popular items, which is a painting kit. And don't worry, she's already been compensated for these items.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Can you speak a little bit to your business model? Are you a nonprofit? What are you thinking about in terms of revenue? Can you just explain that structure a bit?
Yes, so we are a registered 501c3. So right now we currently have most of our revenues coming from school contracts. Last year we hosted at 2 Bronx schools. One school wanted 2 cycles of our program. So that's why we're looking to increase the number of college volunteers who can be part of our program, and we can expand to other schools.
So in terms of expanding to other schools, then I guess the labor, it's mostly using interns from the Fordham campus and then the support from the schools. How do the schools get funding to have those contracts?
Yeah, so actually New York City is currently launching the Financial Literacy for Youth initiative, where they are focusing on providing financial education to all students in public schools by 2030. So the budget is there, and we're actually this is for elementary age students. So a lot of the programming that is happening right now in the workshops are mostly for high school students, but based on the research and based on the experience that I've had with kids, the earlier you start teaching them this information, the more opportunities they have to grow their wealth.
That's great. You sort of answered my question already. Great presentation, but I was curious to think, to see how you're thinking about sort of students who are very eager to continue growing and to become more entrepreneurial. Is there a resource or sort of a pipeline that you're thinking about to ensure that they retain that interest?
Yeah, so our Girl Boss Mentoring Program is that pipeline. So all of the students who are participating in the program already completed the Kids Entrepreneurship Program and have continued to engage with their business and continue to grow it and are very excited to keep making more money. So this is one pathways that we're seeing to further develop. Right now is we are majority girls, but we definitely have opportunities for boys as well.
And what is, we might have touched on this a little bit, but what is your like dream for expansion and growing? Are you thinking staying in the Bronx, New York City area, or have you started to think about growing beyond that?
So the Bronx alone has over 150 elementary schools, right? And they're mostly in low income areas. So right now the focus is the Bronx, especially because I'm from the Bronx. I grew up in the Bronx, but we would love to move obviously to Harlem and throughout New York City and then expand throughout the United States. Okay, thank you.
All right, folks. That wraps up our social impact track. Don't go anywhere too quickly because we got one more track after this. And then we're announcing the winners and we're giving away over $20,000. All right, so we're gonna bring in our next set of judges. Chris, Wendy, and Tim. Wonderful. All right, folks, this is going to be our last track of the night. And then it's going to be time to award some money out. Make sure you guys are keeping track of which pitches you guys like. You guys will be able to vote for your people's choice. All right, folks, we're going to get this one started here shortly. If you can find your way back to your seat. It's our final Jesuit track. I think we got our judges situated here. We're just waiting on everybody to make it back to their seat. How much are they getting? How much do they get? 1,000. A lot of money. All right, folks, we're going to head into our Jesuit track. I want to remind you that you guys are going to have the ability to give away $1,000 tonight. After this track, you guys are going to be able to vote for your favorite, the People's Choice Award, and that award comes with a $1,000 prize. So hope you guys are tuned in. I want to go ahead and introduce our judges. We got Chris Lowney, Wendy Bolger, and Tim Gamery up here up front. And I'm supposed to make a couple jokes at Georgetown, but I rode over here in the car with them and they're quite nice people. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna let them. Well, I won't do it. Maybe later. All right. First up, we have from Georgetown, Ketsu.
You think in a world where AI can personalize everything from shopping to movie recommendations to medical innovations, that the healthcare industry would know how to create a new innovation to manage kids' chronic diseases. But they haven't. Reality is that kids manage their diabetes using tools built for adults. Blaring alarms, complex graphs, and dashboards that don't make sense for kids. For the millions of kids that have type 1 diabetes, it's an overwhelming and terrifying condition. Managing diabetes means you have to every day think about your sleep, your insulin, your food for the rest of your life. And there's large variability in type 1 diabetes adherence rates, how they listen to treatment, between 23 to 77% of the time. This leads to ER visits and long-term healthcare costs, all preventable.
That's why we built Ketsu. Ketsu is an engaging education platform that brings all of what diabetes management is to the children directly. It's supposed to be a fun platform. It comes in 3 phases. First is a kid-first approach through education, emotional security and education that's age appropriate. Second is AI-enabled personalization, where the child can learn how their body specifically interacts with their environment. And third is habit forming, where we teach kids how to have better impacts to their diabetes long-term. Our competitors effectively just show numbers. They don't have any impact on the long-term healthy habits that we want to form through Ketsu, nor do they have any real helpful education over time. We're also excited to announce that we are launching our beta today for all of you to test. So Ketsu is super excited to meet all of you.
So our go-to market strategy starts with subscriptions for families, partnering with pediatric clinicians, and scaling through payers, because better diabetes management means less hospitalizations and lower long-term costs. The pediatric diabetes market sits at around $9 billion. Our US digital health segment sits at around $480 million. We are targeting an obtainable $3 to $6 million in that space.
Ketsu's for diabetics, built by diabetics. We essentially made the app that we wish we had when we were first diagnosed, knowing what it's like to be uninsured and underrepresented. Additionally, we have the team to make this happen now, from a healthcare background to engineering to UI, UX, and business strategy. We've embedded Cure Personalis throughout our entire architecture, not only thinking about the kid as a glucose number, but the family and support as a whole. We might not have a cure for diabetes yet, but we can sure change what it feels like growing up with it. Thank you.
Red. Oh, thank you. Great presentation. Question about the competitors. There's a number of them there. Can you talk more about the differences? What's in your advantage?
Sure thing. So there are kind of 2 sides of competitors here. Either the health kind of like physical devices that help pull the data into the system, or on the other side is more of the educational side of the platform, the things that are tailored towards kids. And frankly, they're not good. We have all of them on our phones and we actively use them, and there's no education, or the data inflow doesn't teach anything. It just shows effectively what is my blood sugar right now.
Thank you.
So I had two questions. So first of all, it's a great idea and a great presentation. So one is, does your app pull in actual monitoring data, or it's completely distinct? So that's one kind of question. And if it does pull it in, like, do I get some kind of a signal or warning or something like that? And then my second question is, does it require any kind of FDA approval?
Leave the engineer to answer the first part of the question.
Gladly. Great question. So yes, it does pull in live data. I personally use this already. I have a continuous monitor on my body at all times. So through Apple Health Kit, it's already integrated in the system. Are you already using FDA approved continuous monitors? It pulls in the data from the phone device itself. So that kind of lends to the second half of that question.
So we, we don't necessarily need FDA approval for this type of app. There's a lot of other competitors, like you can think Levels, or like Aura Ring. It's essentially like a calculator, and it doesn't actually give like medical prescriptive advice. Additionally, like there's disclaimers, and like people voluntarily give their information for this type of platform.
Thanks for coming all the way from Georgetown and presenting to us today. I'm assuming that your user is the young person, is the youth, and I'd love to know more about at what age you're targeting and when they can start using the app, and what the parents' role is. Are parents also users? How are they monitoring what their children are doing on the app? And just some more, especially what we've heard today about safety with youth on online.
Yes, another great question. We've had a couple other presenters that have touched on the same ideas here. Generally, the app, since it's self-contained, it's not an issue with connectivity to the internet. Parents, yes, I think long-term it makes sense that the parents would be involved in some of the kind of overview of what's going on, as well as potentially the endocrinologist as well.
I was going to say, in terms of age range, we're going to start at like a younger age group, probably like late middle school, late elementary school, early middle schoolers. And I would say we're actually developing different UI UXs in our plan for the different ages, because really young kids don't even understand their graphs, right? Like, how are they going to interpret that? So we need to make it age appropriate, at the same time having the parents involved throughout the entire process.
Just quick follow-up, do you know what the average age of diagnosis is?
It's around 5. Yeah, some on the truly infant phases and some a little bit older. I was diagnosed when I was 5, like my 6th birthday. And I personally, to your previous question as well, I was on experimental technology at that age because I was part of FDA studies way, way early. And I think I'm better off for it. So the sooner that the parents have the education alongside the kids to understand this is a chronic condition, but just like you learn how to tie your shoes, you can treat your diabetes.
I was also diagnosed a little older, and as an adult, I open the app all the time. So it's very fun, interactive. Like, I want to open it consistently.
How are you going to market this, get people to adopt it?
I'll say first, we're very tied into our communities in terms of diabetes. A lot of my friends are diabetic, not because we all happen to get diabetes, but I meet diabetics. And a lot of the technology we use comes as a word of mouth. I find something that's better than the previous thing. It's always a competition to see who gets the best numbers. So naturally, we're gamifying it among our friends. So lean into that with a platform.
Yeah, we've also looked at other competitors to see a reasonable way to have a subscription with families, and we're ideally going to start with like 100 families with our beta testing model, and then go into clinics and payers to provide them dashboards and better information.
Please download, check it out.
Right, judges? That's good? Wonderful. We're going to keep it going. From Loyola Marymount, we have the Hoop Gang.
皆さん、こんにちは。ニューヨークに初めて来ることができて本当に嬉しいです。Hi everyone, my name is Samir Davis and I go to Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California. And what I just said in Japanese was, it's my first time here in New York. Thank you for having me. Growing up in LA, basketball was my passion. I even joined an international Japanese school to prepare for my career. And although basketball didn't work out for me on the court, what I gained from it, that 12-year-old me never would have imagined, is the ability to travel the world using the sport that I loved still. The problem we saw was simple. The legacy basketball apparel brands were not meeting the needs of the consumers. There was a time when these brands were considered cool and innovative, but not so much anymore. As a result of this, these mass basketball apparel brands were targeting the mainstream consumers. However, what they were missing out on was the passionate basketball fans. What these fans were looking for was identity, functionality, and authenticity. So we built that into our brand. Every product we release at the Hoop Gang is meant to start a conversation on the court. We created reversible basketball shorts because basketball players were looking for 2 looks in one. And we made cropped sweatpants because we noticed hoopers were cutting their own sweatpants. We do this and make sure we make designs that don't look like something your uncle would buy for you, but at a price point that your broke college kid can still afford. And here are some examples of the designs. Of the $16.5 billion basketball apparel industry, 40 to 42% of it makes up our target audiences from the ages of 14 to 24. And here are some interesting things about that target audience. As opposed to the previous generation of basketball fans, this generation is more loyal to players as opposed to teams. And as a LeBron James fan, I can tell you that is true. Beyond that, most of them are discovering basketball media through TikTok and Instagram as opposed to mainstream media. So the question becomes, how does a basketball apparel brand meet this new generation of consumers where they're at? And here's how we do it. We use TikTok Shop as a validation layer to onboard hundreds of creators and test thousands of pieces of content. From there, we take the winning creatives, bring them to Instagram, and spend a lot of ad spend on these videos. From there, we're allowed to develop a system that is repeatable at scale and high in conversion. And that's the exact system that allowed us to grow from $80,000 in revenue my freshman year to over $1 million my junior year of college. And this year in Q1 alone, we've already done over $600,000 in revenue, $700,000 year to date. And that's relevant because Q1 is considered the slowest quarter in e-commerce. Although we're very proud of these numbers, at LMU, we learned about the concept of Magis. Magis means doing more, not just for yourself, but for others. And we built that into our mission here at the Hoop Gang. And here's how we do that. We partner with a nonprofit known as EXP, where we give entrepreneurship talks at high schools in South Central. And right now we're building a 60-day program called Earn Your Gear, where athletes set on-court goals and academic goals. And as they accomplish those goals, they earn free items. More long-term, we hope to build and we hope to rebuild basketball courts in underserved communities because we understand that opportunity can only exist in places where access exists. I started today in Japanese for 2 reasons. 1, obviously because I grew up learning it, but 2, because Japan is actually our second largest audience. And when I played basketball on the court in Japan and saw other people wearing my product without ever meeting them in advance, I learned something that 12-year-old Samir would have never imagined. That's that basketball truly is a global language, and that's what our goal here is at the Hoop Gang, to speak this language on a global scale and give back to other people as much as we can. Thank you.
Can you share more about production, manufacturing, and design? Are you designing clothes? Tell us about that process.
Of course. That's a great question. I'll just go back to the slide where I show the products. But so long story short, here's how the design process goes. First, when I decided to come up with a design or a product for the Hoop Gang, my main focus is to go for like utility. So for instance, our reversible shorts, like I said, basketball players wanted more than one look in one pair. And then I noticed like a trend in the basketball community where hoopers are already cutting their sweats. So I was able to develop essentially the concept behind that. From there, it depends on the design, but more than likely, if it's something that is less utility focused, we try to capitalize on style. So as you see, these are kind of single layer shorts. So we develop them like that. And then from there, we work with a designer. Then we go to our manufacturer. We manufacture out of China, and we have a good relationship to where they manufacture our items and ship them directly to consumers. So we don't ever have to hold any inventory in the US. And then, yeah, that's essentially how the process works.
So talk more about the TikTok. Is that where all of the traffic and sales, it's all through TikTok?
No, actually, a majority of our sales are through Meta, but within this last year, we developed a new system where we use TikTok Shop as a validation layer because it's the easiest way to onboard creators at scale. And so they're making content essentially for free because it's an affiliate model on TikTok Shop. And from there, we could identify which creators are the best at making content. And then we had an internal tool developed that kind of replicates this TikTok Shop system on Instagram. And from there, they onboard onto that platform and make content for us. And then we run ads on those videos. Then all the people who are making content for us get paid off of a percentage of revenue they generate.
So congratulations on what you accomplished so far. That's amazing, the sales you're already getting. Yeah. So I had two questions. One is, you mentioned the Hoop Gang. Are there others in the gang other than you? So that's one, and what are they doing? So it's one kind of thing?
Yeah, so we have a lot of people on our team. I have a co-founder, but then beneath that, there's a lot of different aspects of the business that we need help with. One thing I'm learning this year is like more so how to delegate because I'm realizing I'm not the best at everything. So we have a website designer. We have someone who makes static image like ad creative. So let's say you're scrolling on Instagram and you come across a picture of our product. There's a guy behind that. And then we have someone who handles our email flows. So like reaching out to customers who already purchased, making cool templates, making sure, our product stays on their mind. Oops. It's back up. And then besides for that, we have someone who's on top of influencer outreach. He handles specifically Japan, which is our second biggest audience right now. And then we have an ads manager and then someone who manages our TikTok shop as well.
Okay, and then this in a way helps me get to my second question. So if I could just call your Magis page there, some of those activities you're doing. So one, give me a sense of scale for that. Like, do you want to dedicate a certain percentage of revenue to doing that? Do you do that a lot? Do you do that a little? Who worries about finding these kinds of opportunities?
Okay, so first and foremost, the one that I feel like is closest to my heart is the entrepreneurship talks that I'm doing at local high schools. And so that's through a nonprofit called EXP. And we partner with a few high schools. So Carson and Gardena High School are the main ones that we go to. And we go a few times a semester, different groups. So that's the first one that we're doing right now. And then you also asked what percentage, or like, would we put a percentage of our?
I mean, what I'm trying to get at is, like, what do you aim at? How much is enough? How much are you trying to aim to have these kinds of activities as part of your overall effort here?
I think it's a significant part of what we're building. And right now, we're obviously trying to keep it at a scale that we can manage. And obviously, more long term, as we generate more revenue, it'll be more realistic to do things like rebuilding the basketball courts. But the 60-day challenge right now is the main thing that we're in the process of building. And it's a significant part of our business right now because the fact that most of our consumers are, like I said, from the ages of 14 to 24. So they are facing those day-to-day challenges of trying to balance basketball and academics at the same time. And being a former basketball player myself, I can relate to that. So making sure, we put an emphasis like with our brand on, being, consistent on the court, but off the court as well. So that's what I would say.
Thanks. We have more time. One more.
I hate to do it to you. All right, folks. After a decade of ideas, we come down to our final pitch, representing Fordham. None other, seen her before, but Polar Guard.
I know I was just up here. Sorry, you have to listen to it again. Okay. So I'm going to frame it a bit differently now that we're in the Jesuit category. So hi, my name is Alana Richardson. I'm in the MS AI and Business program at the Gabelli Business School. And so I'll start out. Bipolar disorder, as I said before, it's a clock disease. It runs on internal rhythms. And so it's hard to really keep track of your own internal clock. So 69% of people are misdiagnosed at first with bipolar disorder. They're misdiagnosed with having just depression, and then so that delays proper medication. And so when the people are misdiagnosed at first, they get put on antidepressants, and then that causes mania, and then that is the tipping point, and that's how you find out that you have bipolar disorder.
And so, because it's driven by broken circadian rhythms, it's mainly there's nothing right now that tracks all your symptoms together. So all of your biomarkers like speech patterns and like sleep activity, and then heart rate. Nothing tracks it all together to give you a general prediction of bipolar disorder and when you're entering into a specific depressive or manic episode. And so PolarGuard, I'm working on to basically an early warning system 3 to 7 days in advance of someone entering into an episode. And so it's going to track using thresholds set with clinicians and their psychiatrists. And then it will be tracked with an integrated layer between wearables right now that they already wear. So that's Oura Rings, Fitbits, Apple Watches. It'll be an API layer. And then so that will track their biomarkers. And then with those thresholds set between them and their psychiatrists, they'll be able to assess a risk score. And so this is the a Figma mock-up. So this is a patient view. And then there's also a clinician view. So the only difference is that the patient view has all of their own like trackings. And so right now bipolar is tracked not preventively, but retrospectively. So when you're going into a bipolar episode, you don't know, you can't see the tree through the forest. And so with this, these would track it automatically. You don't have to wait to see your psychiatrist and remember what your symptoms were ahead of time. And so surprisingly, there's really no competitors right now with this. There are mental health apps and then those wearables, but nothing tracks those data points all together continuously. And so this market is $360 billion in AI-driven healthcare right now. And so that's where PolarGuard would sit. And with the program that I'm doing, I plan to do 100 customer discovery interviews and then essentially a noise pilot. And so what this means is that because I'm starting with bipolar disorder, 7 million people in the US have it. I'll be introducing PolarGuard to psychiatrists, clinicians, getting buy-in, and hopefully it will be $29 a month subscription. And then with FDA approval, hopefully it will be covered by insurance eventually. Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation. The research into the solution, can you talk more about the collection of kind of numbers that you're looking at and what's the data behind that?
Yeah, so let's go back here. Okay, so biomarkers. So right now, like if you have a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, or an Oura Ring, that just tracks your maybe your heart rate, how often you get up at night, your sleep levels. But because bipolar disorder, it's really it's not one size fits all. And so when you're speaking to your psychiatrist, your clinicians, you set personal thresholds. So maybe someone in the manic episode doesn't speak 195 beats per minute, whatever, and then another person does. And so those thresholds are going to be individualized. And then when you set one of those, if you're going either above or below, that'll give a notification to your watch, to your ring, whatever you're wearing, and then it'll trigger the clinician dashboard for your clinician to be like, okay, seems to me that you're going above, you're going below. Let me reach out to you. Let's do proactive, and intervention.
So I had two, so first of all, it's a great, I mean, a very needed community and a wonderful idea. So I think it's great what you're doing here. I had two questions. One, and I'll just ask them both, and then you could answer. One, how many of the indicators are self-reported as opposed to just tracked? And what I'm getting at is self-reporting tends to be a problem among behavioral health community. So that's one kind of question. And then the second question is, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of feeling like there's a research-ish dimension to all this. Like, in other words, it's not like we know that these indicators trigger this. So part of what you're doing is also an aspect of discovery, research, what kind of correlations we can discover.
Yeah, so To your second question first, about the research aspect of it, yeah, so because, like I was saying, there's no one size fits all, I would start out with a pilot. And so there's not really a set of biomarkers that predict bipolar disorder. The thing that I would compare it to is a cardiac event monitor. And so that I think would be the closest thing to compare it to. But sorry, what was the first question?
The first one was how of the various indicators, how many are self-reporting?
Okay, yes.
Given the problem of behavioral health, patients tend not to report accurately often.
Right. Okay. Yes. And so with the self-reporting aspect of it, I would say right now, essentially all of those biomarkers, they're not really self-reported. When someone with bipolar disorder is speaking to their psychiatrist or something, they are mainly saying, hey, I felt, a little bit off last week. I can't really pinpoint the exact moment or the day where I had a shift, but I know I had a shift at some point. And so that's the important part about this, is because this is a data problem. It's not really a science problem. We understand the disorder. We just need to be able to catch it ahead, catch those episodes ahead of time. Yeah.
Thanks for presenting again. You're doing really great work. I was thrilled to learn that you're going into I-Corps.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like that'll be really valuable. Can you share more about how you're going to find those 100 interviews?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, I'm working with Dr. Sen here at Fordham. And so he suggested, outside of going through TikTok, because you go through hashtags right now on social media, hashtag bipolar 2, bipolar 1, mental health, which is like huge on social media. It's quite easy to find somebody with those type of different illnesses or mental health illnesses. And because people are more open about it now. I just told you guys for the first time bipolar disorder. So but first, outsourcing from social media. I've reached out to a few people on commenting, DMing, and they've been pretty receptive of explaining to me how they go about managing their bipolar. And then also speaking to clinicians, like for here at Fordham, clinician group, and then also my own psychiatrist. And then I've also got family members, so it's genetic, obviously. So, if that answers the question. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up our 10 years of ideas, but we have very important news for you guys. We the People's Choice Award. You're going to get to vote on who your favorite pitch was. And on top of that, when you vote, you'll be entered into a raffle. And the prizes are actually pretty nice. What do we got? We have AirPod Pros Max, and then no Max, and then 2 Claude Pro subscriptions for a year. So we're gonna go ahead and all right. So as you guys can see, we have a QR code. You'll please scan the QR code. You should be able to see the different PDFs of the different pitches. You can kind of get yourself familiar with them again. Go ahead and vote. You'll be automatically entered to win some of those prizes. And you guys have just a few minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to get that done. And then we're going to come back with our winners. And we're going to come back with our winners. And we're giving out, on top of those wonderful prizes that are going to be going to you guys, we're giving out $22,500. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. All right.
All right, so like Skinner said, we've got a few minutes for the People's Choice voting. Got a little bit of time for a bathroom break, but don't go anywhere because you want to stay for the announcement, which will happen in around 10 to 15 minutes. So take a break, network. I really encourage you to see the student businesses tabling in the back and make some new friends. Thanks, everyone.
Like 10, 15 minutes is
First.
Okay,
You know what
so
Claude Pro is?
what?
You know what Claude Pro is?
Wait, what?
Claude Pro.
Yeah, no, it's pretty expensive. No, it's the $20 a month plan. That's Claude Max. You said the max again, but so how? Just when like we're announcing them, we'll have it like animated, so it'll be like you'll go onto the slide and then we'll say announcing or.
So when we present the big check, we got the step repeat. That's our preference, right? We want to take pictures of the step repeat.
I think we should try to get, so we're gonna announce them in the front here, so I think we should get a picture like handing the checks like that. And then we should get a second set of photos with each founder in front of the stuff. Okay. So I think after we announce everything, while the raffle's going on, you can pull the back. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll make it.
Okay. Okay. Am I handing out the check?
I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you should, yeah. Okay. Cause I think those are pretty good, like cool photos of like the introduction.
Because sometimes you want to hear something.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and I think we should try to get a group photo of all the founders with all their chats.
Okay. And all the
Yeah.
judges we want that.
Yeah.
They're all gonna stay. That one. You know, the background. But it is what it is, yeah.
Stepping in.
Yeah.
Awesome, okay.
So we're saying, keep on that, don't grab it.
Cool.
Good job. Walk the catch for
Oh, yeah.
Look, you have your outfit.
Non ha uso.
Good luck. Yeah.
All right, if we can have everyone start gathering back to their seats.
All right. All right. I clicked this thing. First off, if I'm the winner, you guys got to match.
Be this place. Bring out the people. I was like, say the award. Winner. That's just gonna be the flow, and then at the end, this is very important. Hunter is big and
Dana.
and then I'll come up.
Cool.
Oh.
Ready? All right, folks. All right. All right. Let's get back to our seats here. We have to announce these winners. We got to give out some money. And then we have AirPods and Claude and so much stuff. Okay? All right. Is everyone seated? Everyone's ready to go? All right. We're going to start off with the People's Choice winner. You guys chose this winner just moments ago for $1,000. Come on, yes, man. For $1,000, we have I don't have to see who's wrong. You want to take a microphone? Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. On to our Jesuit track winner for $2,500. Getsu. All right. Let's keep it going for $5,000. For the social impact winner, we have Kids Building Wealth. Now to our general track winners. In third place, for $2,000, we have Read Our Lips. Now for our second place winner, $4,000. We have Santa's Secret Workshop. All right, guys. $8,000. Make sure I get the first place goes to Focus Plus. Before we give out these wonderful raffles, we're going to have Dante come up here in a second. We did want to say thank you to our sponsors, Wigan and Dana LLP and Image Shield. All right, folks. They're kind of maxed. Oh.
It's an update. I connect my. How do I connect this so it? An HDMI. It's just not updated. That's. Alright, it's not updating. Things. Yeah, I feel like we would wanna show it all. Yeah, but it's a specific link because actually I don't think it's gonna show. All right, we're having some technical difficulties, so we're gonna have to go on the Fordham honor system that I'm gonna choose the correct name here. But everyone who entered and voted for People's Choice Award is entered into this. So we have a total of 109 entries. So you're not gonna be able to see the direct, but so this first raffle will be for the AirPods Pro. So 3, 2, 1, give me a drum roll. I'll announce the name in a second. Our winner is Dana Del Rosario. Woo! Congratulations. All right, and now we're gonna spin twice for this one. So this is for we'll get one subscription for a 3-month subscription of Claude Pro. So we'll spin twice. So the first one is drum roll. Summer Mills. And the Claude subscriptions will be emailed to you, so there's really nothing to collect, but congratulations, Summer. All right, and then for our last raffle, drum roll, please. Kayla Espinoza. Are you, okay, you're here, okay. You gotta be here to claim the prize. All right, so we just wanted to say a generous thank you to our sponsors, Wigan and Dana and Image Shields. I also wanted to say a big thank you to our MC here, David Skinner. And then I also just wanted to say a thank you to all of our Foundry staff that helped put on this event, with Jenny, Albert Kosick, Sean Johnson, Warren, Milton, our 2 interns. Yeah, this is a great way to kick off 10 years of pitch challenges, or to end it off. And yeah, we'll give one more round of applause for our founders tonight, and thank you guys for coming.
No one is saying anything about Dante, but Dante is the most amazing intern in the whole world. He could probably run a whole country if he wanted to, but he wouldn't do that. So can everyone say thank you to Dante, making sure this picture. And also, well, Kathleen, our intern abroad, did a lot. She's, I think, in Korea right now, but thank you, Kathleen, if you're watching. And Lila, our new intern back there, thank you. And our task force of Pizza Thursday students, Nicholas, Patrick, I see you back there. Thank you guys for your help. And thank you to our JECA colleagues for traveling all the way over here to participate. It's been so fun. Thank you to all of you for attending, and have a good night. Okay. Founders, sorry, one more. Founders and judges who are still here, can we meet in that room to take some pictures in front of the step and repeat, please? Thank you.
I'm a freshman in the ground floor court. Did? Oh my god, no, I remember that one time. Yeah. I was told that if we came here, we would also get some extra credit. I don't know if there's a QR code I need to scan. Just my professor put us on to that. I got here 20 minutes late just because there was another event I had to go to. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's why I'm dressed up. Yeah. But yeah, what can I? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what was your
Fantastic, great to see you. See you again. Take care.
Take your time.
Dante, great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks again. Yeah.
Good.